So, Terry, I mean, this is what we have in our hands here, right?
Yeah, we've got an amazing opportunity here. We've got amazing products. We're going to help change the world, you guys, especially the world right now really needs something. It needs a product to help people with their health, but it also needs someone to help them with their abundance. And I mean, there's nothing greater than to be able to help somebody that even you guys, if they're making $500 or $1,000, they're able to pay for their car payment, their house payment, where people are losing their houses right now. I think it's really important right now to get the message out so that people are able to, fulfill some of their dreams. I mean, that's what Zango stands for. Zango stands for their dreams. And we certainly have been able to fulfill our dreams. So, get the word out there and share the product and the business with them.
Okay, so let's shift the gears a little bit here now. What we're going to talk about is the 3 steps to success in Zango. And this is what we've learned. This is very, very simple and very, very powerful. And there's 3 basic steps if you want to create success in Zango. The first step is the invitation, okay? Now, the invitation is not a presentation. It's an invitation, okay? So what you're going to be doing is you're going to invite others to look and listen to information about your products and your opportunity, okay? The second step is the presentation, okay? Now, the key with the presentation is that you should let the tool make the presentation. You shouldn't be doing the presentation yourself. And so there's lots of ways to make presentations, right? There's CDs, I think, are some of the most powerful way to make presentations, because if you can get people to listen to them, particularly when they're driving their car, right? It's a captive audience. Webinars are very, very powerful tools for making presentations, in my view, because once again, you have a captive audience. A website, to me, is not a great presentation tool. It's more like an information tool, and I like to use the website more as a follow-up to the presentation. Of course, live meetings can be presentations. There could be lots of different kinds of presentations. And what you want to do, though, is use all of the tools available and make sure that you're not using the presentation. Now, these tools should be the tool that's right for the person, not necessarily right for you, right? So I can remember this guy calling me up one time and saying, Art, I'm really not having a lot of success. Well, give me an idea what you did recently. Well, I met this guy in Mexico, and I gave him an information pack, and he doesn't seem to be interested. I said, well, what was your conversation with him about? Well, he had some problems with his scalp, and I thought the juice might be able to help him. I said, well, what tools did you give him? Well, I gave him the $1 million secret and something else. So give the right tool for the job. Now, step 3 of the system is follow-up. Now, this should never be done alone. This should be you with your future partner on with a coach or a mentor. And this is where a lot of people break down, is in the follow-up and trying to do it by themselves. So that's the 3 steps to the system. So remember not to be the lone wolf here. The lone wolf is something that I've been over the years, but you've got to work as a team, work together, okay? So who do you invite? That's the question a lot of people have, Terry, and I know that you have some thoughts on the kind of people and the idea that you want to bring to people that you're going to be inviting.
Well, I think it's really important to think about the person. I know what Art and I did when we first started is we sat down and we said, okay, let's write down, 50 to 100 people that we know, and you really want to think about not just your neighbors and not just your family. I know we always go to family first, and I'll tell you what, family are the hardest people. I know you care about them, but not everybody wants to be well, and not everybody wants to be successful in network marketing. But you want to stretch yourself. You want to go beyond your boundaries and to be able to help other people, whether it's friends that you know for 20 years, and now we've got Facebook. I mean, what can I say? You're able to find people a lot easier with that. So I think you need to just kind of stretch out of your comfort zone of people that you've known for quite a while.
Yeah, and we're going to show you, okay, so here's the 3 markets that I've been teaching, for the last number of years. We have the cold market. This is people that you don't know, right? And if you're going to find people in the cold market, you've got to advertise. Certainly the greatest market is the warm market. That's the people that you know. And then the third market, which is a kind of a phrase that I came up with a number of years ago, called the meat market, the people that you meet every single day. And as you can see from this, if you want to think about all the candidates and prospects that you have as widening the funnel there, whoops, a little action here in Home Central, the wider the funnel, the more people and the more candidates going in the funnel here, the more they will come out of the bottom. Now, here is the one challenge. So if the biggest market is the warm market, and if you think of the warm market as this target here, and we're looking to find just maybe 3 high quality people, right, and hit the target with them. But a lot of people will say, I don't have enough people. I don't know enough people. Well, statistics show you, depending on who you listen to, you know anywhere from 250 to 1,000 people. Honestly, a warm market person is just simply someone that would remember your name or would remember a connection with you. It is just any kind of a connection you've ever had in your life. And so let's say that the people that you know very, very well, your close friends and family, are the people in the center of your target here. And naturally, you're going to start with these folks, but sometimes, they are the hardest, right? The people you know the best. If you go out a little bit further, you will get out into people that you know quite well, and you see them regularly, but you're not involved in their daily life. As you move further out from the target, you enter a wider circle here, don't you? Now, these are what we would call acquaintances, old friends, people you haven't seen for a couple of years, people that you see at work, but you don't really know what's going on in their life. And as you move out further into here, into the biggest circle of all, these would be people that you have known at some point in your life. And some of these at the close circle might be a friend from 5 years ago or somebody that babysat your children, whereas in the outer circle, it would be somebody that you just bumped into at a reception for a bank or something, and you passed business cards and you had just the slightest interaction. This is all your warm market. And you've got to get out into your outer circles if you've completed your inner circles. And guess what happens, guys? There's a clue here that when you get further out into these outer circles of your warm market, you have more credibility because they don't know. You could already be a 6-figure income earner. You could already own a $1 million house. You actually can have more credibility with the people that you don't know so well. So push your warm market out wider, get out into the wider circles here, and start inviting people that you don't know so well. You will never run out of people to contact. And I've said in the past, in the meat market, you're meeting people every single day. And if you say to me, I don't know anybody, I say to you, go get $20 worth of gas at 4 gas stations, and you've just met 4 new people. So it's never about not knowing enough people or not contacting enough people or not having enough people to contact. It's never about that. It's about the will to do it. The will to do it is what is important here.
And I think it's about asking yourself the question, what's in it for them? I think that's really important, Art, because, too often we don't really look at that person and examine it and say, well, she's got a broken arm. Maybe she's got inflammation in that arm. That juice is great for her. What's in it for them, not for yourself. Always look after your people, and you will always be looked after.
Yeah, that's true, Terry. What's in it for them? So that means thinking about them, right? That means wondering about them. That means actually, putting yourself in their shoes and finding out what their hot button might be, right? What would be their reason? Why would they be interested in something like this? It's not about what's in it for you. It's about what's in it for them. So let's get into some tips of inviting. If the whole key to your success is about making invitations, let's talk about some of the tips. Of course, it starts with making a list. And we've just taught you how to expand your list, right? Then I suggest having what I call a list meeting. Once you've made your list, get together with your sponsor or your upline or a sideline or your wife or whatever and talk about the people on your list. And then what you want to do is come up with your invitation. Now, I haven't got a slide on this, but the invitation is, to me, there's 3 parts to a good invitation. So I want you to write this down. To me, an invitation is about your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? What have you found? Connecting it with their why, what's in it for them, and then adding some key phrases to it. Your why, connecting with their why, and adding key phrases to it. And so then you would take what it is that you're going to say in this regard, and you would write it down. And you would it's so important to write this down. I would never pick up the phone and try to present an invitation to somebody unconsciously without thinking about what it is that I'm going to say. And I don't want you to have a script necessarily, but by writing it down, it goes into your brain, and you start to remember what it is that you're going to say, and then it should flow out of your mouth. And I'm going to give you a sample invitation in a second here, but let me go through the rest of these tips. Okay, I've got it there. Your why, their why, key phrases. The next thing, of course, is to be excited. It isn't so much what you say, it's how you feel about what you say. But you've got to be detached from the outcome. So let me give you an idea what a good invitation would sound like, you know? So it's about your why. So you might call somebody up on the phone, and you say, hey, John, yeah, listen, this is Art. I know we haven't talked in a long time, but I've been thinking about you for the last few days. Pause. Why am I doing that? I'm letting him at least say something and interact. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, what's up, Art? Well, listen, you know me. I mean, I'm always been looking for some other way to make money because I'm struggling, and I know you know that. Well, guess what? I found something. Pause. We don't want this to make a pitch. We want this to be an invitation. Pause. I found something. And he's probably going to say, what? I mean, that's what you're waiting for. What? What did you find? If you can get a what from him, he's opened the door for you to tell him what it is. Well, listen, John, I mean, I don't know if this is for you or not. Takeaway. This is a key phrase. This is a key phrase. I don't know if this is for you or not. But from what I remember, you know, you hate that job you're in. And you like nothing better than to work from home. That's what I remember about you. And so I'm working on this new business project, and I really would like you to have a look at it. You know, what's your schedule looking like in the next 24 hours? Go right for the appointment. Go right for the appointment. See, did you get that? So you might be different for every single person, depending on what his why was. Now, sometimes you don't know exactly what their why might be, and so your invitation won't be quite as strong as that. So some of the key phrases are, under ordinary circumstances, I wouldn't even bring this up, but it just so happens I found something. Pause. You know, I don't know if this is for you or not because it takes the pressure off. I'm just looking for a few people. I can only talk to a few people about this. That's an invitation that has power, and if you can connect your why with their why, suddenly they're interested enough, and then you go right for the appointment. What is your schedule looking like in the next 24 hours? You're not going to make a presentation now. You're going to set up the presentation, and then you decide what tool. If it's a webinar, you plug them into a webinar. If it's a CD, what's your schedule looking like next 24 hours? I'm going to drop you off the CD, you know. If it's a meeting, what's your schedule looking like next 24 hours? Let's meet for a coffee. I've got something I'd like to show you. Maybe you bring a DVD player or something. Or maybe it's even an appointment to meet your upline and he's going to explain it all, okay? But it's still an appointment that you set. So the invitation should only be a couple minutes long, no longer than that. You're not going to talk about, see, we're leading with the business here in this particular example, not so much the product. So when you're going to lead with the business, you don't want to explain everything. If you were making an invitation to look at the product, of course you'd share your product story, a little bit of product information, but you still would not try to explain the product. You would let the tool do the presentation. So,
I think you always have to ask yourself is how can this be duplicatable? You know, it's kind of like when you talk to a doctor. You can't talk like a doctor at all. So you want whatever you do for any of your people, whether it's product or whether it's business, you want it to be duplicatable. Remember, you're not the issue. It's about presenting